All right, grade 3, now that you've watched what a journal entry is or what our journal entries will be, you're going to learn about what journal entry you're going to be writing. So you have all the way up until Sunday morning to send this to me, and I know that you are more than capable of doing this, okay? You're going to pick 2 to 3 things and write about them, and I'm going to go through a step-by-step example of one that you can try, okay? You don't need to write it down, though. All right, so let's refresh. Inside our journal entry, we have a date, we have a title, we have a detailed description of what happened, so we're using our juicy words or exciting words, and what our favorite or least favorite part was. We've learned a lot about the Ukraine, so we're going to write a journal entry as if we spent a day there. So you can look back into your Ukraine booklet and decide what things you would see or do if you were in Ukraine. That's what you'll be writing about, okay? So how do I plan this, Miss Julia? Oh my gosh. How do I get started? Well, you're just going to pick 2 to 3 things. On here, I know it says 2 to 3 very detailed things, or 3 to 5, or more than 5. I am only requesting that you do 2 to 3, okay? If you would like to challenge yourself, then you can do 3 to 5 or more than 5 things. However, the only thing that you actually need to submit to me that's required is 2 to 3, okay? So think about quality of life. Maybe you would try a special food while you were there, or visit a festival, or see a landmark, or learn about a wild animal there. So let's start with an example. So here's me planning. I'm choosing 3 things I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to talk about Peru so that you don't write the exact same journal entry as me. I want to know what you would do in Ukraine, but I'm going to talk about Peru. So for the first thing, I decided I would wake up early to go on a hike to see Machu Picchu. Then I would explore and try some traditional Peruvian foods, and finally, I would end the day at a Peruvian festival. So for number 1, let's go in depth into that. What would that look like? So that was hiking to Machu Picchu. So I would need to wake up very early, so I would have time to do the rest of the things on my list. I would need to put on my super sturdy, strong gripped hiking boots and pack important things like nutritious snacks and lots of exceptionally clean water. Listen to how I tried to use a thesaurus to find some very exciting words to fit in there, okay? Then maybe on the hike, I would see a super fleecy llama. That would be so cool. For tasting traditional food, I would need to talk to some people who live in Peru to find out what things I should eat. Maybe I would even learn how to make something like ceviche from someone who lives in Peru on one of the floating islands. Notice how I pulled details that we learned about Peru and put them all in there. Maybe I would write down the recipe to take home with me, and maybe these people would come to the festival with me next, because that's how I want to end my day. So for going to the festival, I would do lots of research so I could make sure I could get there in time for a specific festival, and I've chosen the Fiesta de la Candelaria. I probably pronounced that wrong, but this picture down here kind of shows you part of that festival. Maybe the friends that helped me learn how to cook would come, and we would watch the dancers in their eccentric, vibrant costumes. So again, I used a thesaurus to find more exciting words than bright and shiny, okay? Maybe I would learn the dance and stay up all the way until the sunrise to see it. So now I just put that together. I put it all together, squished it together. Remember, I have my date. So I have put that it was on Tuesday, February 18th, 2020, because I know that the festival happens in February, so I'm pretending I went in February. My title says Peruvian Paradise. I made it nice and exciting so that someone would want to read. So I started with that first section. Mine is a little bit longer than yours needs to be. However, if you would like to really challenge yourself, you can try and make yours just as long, okay? So today I spent the entire day in Peru. It is such an incredibly beautiful country. I woke up very early at around 5 in the morning. I wanted to make sure I had plenty of time to do everything I wanted to do. I decided to start my day with a hike to see Machu Picchu. I put on my sturdy, strong gripped hiking boots, packed nutritious snacks, and lots of purified water. The hike was long and very tiring, but it was so worth it. Machu Picchu is breathtaking. I even got to see a fleecy llama while I was there. So I've bolded some of the very exciting, juicy words that I used. Notice how I paid close attention to my capitals, my complete sentences, and my punctuation. So then I took pictures with the llama and got ready for the next part of my adventure. For this part, I went to explore a village. While I was there, I was at a market and met a very generous and welcoming old woman. She invited me back to her traditional home. It was one built on a floating island. While I was there, she taught me how to make the most delicious ceviche. So look, I pulled that all in, and I'm just talking about my day, but I'm just adding in details about Peru while using juicy words. Next, I wanted to go see the Fiesta de la Candelaria. The old woman and her family came with me. It was so much fun to see the vibrant, bright costumes and watch the entertaining dances. I got to learn how to do one of the dances. Then I stayed up all night to watch the sunrise. This was my favorite part of my trip. I love Peru. So now it's your turn. I used a thesaurus to help me find exciting, juicy adjectives and other words. And I wrote a small paragraph for each thing I did. So all in all, this should only really fill up maybe 1 page of your home learning journal, okay? And that's less than is expected in grade 3. So I want you to make sure that you're really giving this your all, okay? You can submit it to me on Class Dojo by Sunday morning. And remember, it's great to have mom and dad there helping, but I really want you to try this your best on your own as much as you can. They can help you plan it, but the actual writing, I want to be all yours, okay? Because I love getting to read your ideas, and this helps me to see if we're remembering the things we've been taught, like how to use punctuation, how to do complete sentences, how to use, maybe you've got some possessive nouns in there. I don't know, however you want to do it. But notice that the entry, it's kind of like when we wrote a story, because you're pretending you went to the Ukraine, okay? So you're just talking through your day in the Ukraine. So this is just the credits for who created the actual slides that I put my information on. You have all the way until Sunday morning to do this, so maybe do a little bit each day. Don't stress yourself out. Start with just your planning. What are the 2 or 3 things that you would do in Ukraine? Then go into detail about each one. What does that look like? What did you do? Then you can put it all together maybe the next day. Make sure to take breaks so you don't get overwhelmed, okay? Have lots of fun, grade 3.